My next guest has got a really big fight coming up here against Nathaniel Wood in London for UFC London, July 23rd. It's Charles Rosa, Boston Strong, back here on the program. Charles, how are you, man?
Man, doing great. Just just got back from training, feeling good. Got a couple things to do today, but man, feeling good, ready for the fight, July 23rd.
Love it. Tell me how this all came together with the fight, because I'm sure it was a bit of a surprise with Nathaniel being primarily a bantamweight.
Yeah, no, I just wanted to fight, so I called my manager and I'm like, Jason, I'm ready to go. I was really hoping that Boston was going to come around. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I feel like it's past due. It's been like 3 or 4 years now. Obviously, the pandemics and stuff set things back, but he called me, gave me he said there was going to be a Boston card. Then like 2 days later, he didn't, so he got all excited. But then he called back and he's like, hey, listen, we got this fight in London, Nathaniel Wood. And man, it was, I just said yes right away. I was so excited. I told him my next fight, I didn't want to fight without a crowd. So, he made it happen. He did a great job. So shout out to Jason, my manager. My last 5 or 6 fights have been at the UFC Apex with no crowd and no fans. And, I feel like for me, I feel like I shine best with a crowd and fans and energy, whether it's negative energy, good energy, or bad energy. I'm sure, going to London, they're going to be on his side, but man, I feed off that energy. I fought Yair Rodriguez in Mexico City. It was one of my best fights and got fight of the night there. So, I expect they'll be chanting his name in the beginning of the fight, but just like all my other fights, when I fought Dennis Seaver in Stockholm, Sweden, Yair Rodriguez in Mexico City, they'll be chanting my name at the end like they did in those 2 fights.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. And one of the other things I noticed as well is that you're doing some training over at Sanford MMA. How did that all come together with you training there?
Yeah, I've always had a good relationship with Henry Hooft. I went, my coach, Charles McCarthy, he set me up years ago. I went to train in Holland, Dutch kickboxing with Stefan Berkenpas with Majiro Gym. And Majiro Gym is a Dutch kickboxing gym, and he had good ties with Henry Hooft. And, I've always had a good relationship with Henry. And, it wasn't really anything bad with the American Top Team gym. It wasn't like it was like a big, fallout and they kicked me out or nothing. They just kind of gave me an ultimatum during the pandemic. They said, hey, listen, like you can either only train here or not train anywhere else. And at that time, my coach, Charles McCarthy, we opened a gym, American Combat Gym together. And, place where my little brother Lucas Rosa trains at. We have one of the best amateur teams in the country, and it's a gym building and building some great fighters and doing some great things. Just doing what we love to do, training. And they weren't really a big fan of that, so I just didn't want to be able to lose what it is. It's mixed martial arts, being able to train all over the places and learn the best, and I don't want to limit myself.
Let's talk about Nathaniel Wood, 17-5 record, really long layoff coming into this fight. He hasn't fought since October of 2020. With all that said, how do you feel like your matchup against him?
Oh man, it's really a great fight. Like I said, I'm mostly happy to be back in front of the fans, doing what I love to do, fighting in front of the energy. It's the O2 Arena. It's supposed to be one of the biggest arenas in Europe. I checked it out and really excited to get back in there and shine. Nathaniel Wood, he's trained under one of my former teammates, Brad Pickett. I trained for Brad Pickett for years, so I think he's going to have a good idea of what I'm going to bring. And I think Brad Pickett knows that his boy's in for a tough fight. Brad, I've always had good training sessions with him. Always, he knows my level of jiu-jitsu and my skills, so I'm sure he's preparing his guy the best he can. But I just feel like I'm a couple levels above him everywhere. And he's coming up a weight class, so I'm going to have the height, the strength advantage, the reach advantage everywhere. So I'm just excited to get back in there and do what I love to do and put on a show in front of the fans.
How much stock do you put into pressure? There's pressure going into every fight with every fighter, right? You've got injuries, you've got all types of things, expectations. But in his case, a couple things. I mentioned the layoff there, October 2020. He's coming off a loss. He's moving up a weight class, and it's in London. He's the guy. He's got to go and perform and do really well. You're the out-of-towner. Do you look at that at all in this fight, or is it just is that all irrelevant to you?
Yeah, it's not completely irrelevant. I know what it feels like fighting in front of your home crowd. I have the most all-time wins at the Boston Garden in Boston, my hometown, which is basically London for him. And I have three wins all-time, most wins above Conor McGregor and some other big names. And it's a lot of pressure when you go home. All your friends, family, people that you grew up with, kids you went to high school with, everybody is going to be there, and it's a lot of pressure. You have a lot of people calling you, so it's it's going to be on him to be able to block all this noise out. But it's definitely a lot of pressure. It's probably going to make him train a little bit harder, push a little bit harder. So hopefully he makes it to the fight healthy and he's ready to go. But man, this is what this is all about is big fights and big crowds and fans and all this is this is why I'm in the UFC.
Yeah.
This is the reason is because I love the hype. I love the pressure. Every single fight's pressure. They're like, oh well, it's your first fight in Boston. It's this fight. It's you're coming off a loss. You're coming off a win. You're trying to get. It's every time. There's no every people don't understand. Every fight in the UFC is basically a world title fight. I'm going to fight the number one guy in our weight class from England in the world. When I went and fought in Tokyo, I went and fought the number one Japanese guy in the world from Tokyo. And when I go to Mexico, I'm fighting the number one guy from Mexico. So even though they don't have the championship belt from the UFC saying Mexican champion or American champion or Japanese champion, everybody knows it's the top guy from that area, the number one guy in the world. So that's kind of the way I look at it. I mean, I'm going over there to take the throne and take the title from him and bring it back to America. And that's the way I look at it.
Training camp, who have you had a chance to mainly work with? I know Sanford's a big gym, but are there any guys you've been working with a little bit more than others?
Yeah, for sure. And like I said, I've been splitting time with Sanford. I go there in the morning to get my hard sessions in. And then in the afternoon, I train at American Combat Gym with Charles McCarthy, Matt Waggery, Gregory Choplin, 6-time Muay Thai world champion, and my karate coach, Rami Hamed. So I got some of the best coaches and, teams tuning my my skills. And then in the morning when I go and I get the hard work in, you can't deny the success that Sanford's had. You look over to the left, you see Kamaru Usman, to the right, Logan Storley. You see some of the best guys. And when you ask who I'm working with, is every day I go in, working with Andre Harrison, Darian Caldwell, former Bellator champion, Jared Gordon, UFC fighter. Actually, Garrett Armfield just got signed to the UFC.
Saw that. Congrats to Garrett if he's watching this. That was awesome to see. Got a tough fight though against David Onamu, but still, I love to see him in the UFC.
No doubt, man. He gets his shot, so it's it's on him if he can shine or not. But just to be there and to get the opportunity, there's a reason why they have the fight, So it's like, but this is the Jared Gordon, and Scrappy. Dustin Lampros, he's actually fighting this weekend in Shamrock FC, so I'm super happy to see him back in action, fighting for his first world title in Shamrock FC in Missouri. So got some of the best guys in the world, I'm working with, and that's one thing I've been so fortunate in my whole career is being able to train an American top team, Sanford, American Combat Gym, travel in the world of Thailand, Holland. I've been all over the planet training, and I've got to see the highest levels of everything. So, I know where my skill level is at, and I'm so confident in it. And I just feel like sometimes it takes a little bit of luck. I look at my last fight was literally on 2 days' notice, and it's almost like you could take anybody, not to make excuses, but you could take anybody in the world. You put them in on 2 days' notice. It's not the same as somebody coming in with a 10-week camp. So I'd love to get that TJ Brown fight back eventually with a full camp, or at least like a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? And also with Damon Jackson, I split him open, left him with 40 stitches on his forehead, and he's on a 3 or 4 fight win streak in the UFC. So these are all, I have 3 fight of the night bonuses against, Shane Burgos, Yair Rodriguez, Dennis Seaver, some of, the top guys in the world. And I know my skill level and where I'm at. I just think it's going to just take a couple, just to string together. My first 2 wins will be important for me.
As someone who knows both fighters now, what did you make of the whole Michael Chandler and Dustin Poirier thing that happened at UFC 276?
Yeah, I wish I wasn't really sure. I wasn't really clear with what happened, man. And it's strange because obviously they both want the same thing. They want to be the champion of the division. So that's where their conflict probably really lies, because they're both great stand-up dudes. But man, when it comes to who wants it more, that's what you're gonna get. You're gonna get people butting heads. So I wasn't really clear with what happened. I just saw it on social media that they had some words. What exactly happened? Did you fill me in a little?
I don't know. I know that they were kind of going back and forth. Chandler was accusing Poirier of being drunk or something. I don't know. It was that's. I saw just a little snippet of it, but I mean, there's your promo right there. If they want to do the fight, just show that footage of them getting into it at the UFC 276 card, right?
Yeah, that's what the fans love, man. I mean, they love to see fights, and they like to see when 2 fighters don't like each other. So, as respect as I have for Nathaniel Wood, I'm coming to England to take his head, and that's really what I'm coming to do is, I respect him as a fighter, I respect his team, I respect his coach, and there's a lot, but he has something that's mine. I mean, I look at it like he has my money, and I'm coming to collect it. I have to, fly all the way to England to do it, but that's what I love to do. I love fighting, I love traveling, and I get to do my 2 favorite things July 23rd.
Who's making the trip with you? Who will be in your corner?
I have Matt Waggy, Charles McCarthy, UFC vet, and six-time Muay Thai world champion Gregory Chuplin. So I'm going to have them. Also got my little brother Lucas, King of Monsters, Rosa, my little brother. He's going to be coming up. He won't be cornering me, but he's going to be there. We got him a room up there too. So he's gonna be there helping me kind of in warm up fight week, do the weight cut and a lot of that. So I got my entourage with me, and I'm excited to shine.
How's this fight playing out on July 23rd? How do you see it going down?
Man, there's so many ways. Every night I have a different way in my head it plays out. One day I wake up, I had a dream of submitting him. The next time it's knocking him out. Next time it's hitting him with a big shot and cutting his face open like I did Damon Jackson. And there's so many ways the fight can play out. But ultimately I see with my hand getting raised. So that's the goal. And I've been working so many things, and I've been really focusing on fighting like pretty much like fighting like with a better strategy. I feel like I'm just trying to kill the guy the whole fight. Like the second it starts, I'm trying to submit him, trying to rip his arm bar, trying to guillotine, trying to roll for knee bars. But sometimes, I think I got something. My coach Mike Brown back in the day always told me, he's like, "Hey Charlie, I'd really like to see you, settle into your positions a little bit and work, and then let things come instead of forcing things. Because sometimes you force things. The UFC loves it, the fans love it." So it's hard for me to knock it and say it's not good because it's so exciting. Like everybody loves you. You've gotten all these fight of the night bonuses. You got these performance bonuses. So it's like I don't want to deter you from like fighting the way you want to fight, but I'd also like to see you get more wins. And I feel like a couple of these fights you could have had a couple more W's. Maybe not the performance bonus of the night or the fight of the night, but you would have a couple more wins. So he's like, it's hard to say, but that's just his opinion, and it's something that I stick with, and it's something that even though I'm no longer working with him currently, it's something that I focus on this camp is working on position and strategy for the fight.
I imagine you want to get one more fight in this year, maybe two after the London card. I know this is kind of mid-year, but is that kind of what you're looking at?
Yeah, I'm looking to fight again. Hopefully they come back to Boston so I continue my winning streak and continue my record of most all-time wins, and hopefully, after I can get this W, not to project too much, but hopefully get a big win in Boston and then be looking at, 5-round fights. I really feel like the UFC hasn't seen the best of me. I feel like I'm more of a 5-round fighter, and a fighter like that, like you always see me come and do great in the 3rd round. That's why I've changed my strategy a little bit for this camp. Like I started doing conditioning, get IHP Institute for Human Performance with JC Santana, and like I feel like sometimes I fight the fights like a marathon, like it's to the death. That's not the reality. It's only 15 minutes, and there's a referee there that there's 3 5-minute rounds. So I'm fighting like, all right, first one to quit dies, but that's not the case. It's 3 5-minute rounds. So I need to start fighting it like a sprint, like it's short sprints and intervals. So that's what I've been really working on this fight, and I'm excited to show it off.
Boston Bruins. We got the NHL draft actually tomorrow night, so we might be seeing some trades. Yeah, it's tomorrow night in Montreal, but I know the Bruins. I don't know where they're picking, but just your thoughts on the Bruins offseason. I saw they re-signed Don Sweeney, so looks like they're running with him a little bit longer.
Yeah, they changed their coach too.
Yeah, they got Jim Montgomery. I think he was with Dallas or Nashville, one of those teams. I can't remember.
What about him? Is he
He's
good,
supposed to be pretty good. Yeah, he had some stuff outside of the ice, like he got in some trouble. I guess that's why he got let go. But apparently he's like well respected. I just heard someone talk. Actually, Elliot Friedman. I heard him talk about Montgomery yesterday. Apparently there's a lot of praise for him. He's a good coach. But Bruce Cassidy, why'd they fire him? That's what I want to know, because like it seemed like you guys had a good season.
I don't know, man. I thought we had a great season. I thought we were going to win the cup. I was really pumped for it. It's just I think the goaltending, like at the end, just kind of was a little bit of it. So I don't know how they're going to address that if they have to. But I mean, we have a solid team. It's a team that's won the cup. I mean, as long as you get Bergeron, Marshy, and those, Torrey Crew, a couple of those guys that are like right there on the team, that it takes, like I said, it's a little bit of luck too. But I think get a hot goalie at the end of the season. But I'm not sure. I thought Bruce Cassidy was a great coach. So. It's interesting why they do things. I don't know if it's involved with money or what it is, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. You want them to make any moves to the deadline? Is there any needs? I don't follow Boston enough, but is there anything you're kind of looking that they need?
Like one more like big superstar. I mean, I think we're getting Pasternak back. We better be. I'm sure. I don't know if he resigned or what he did, and we got Bergeron, Marchand. We have like the offense and the goal scoring, I think, to keep it. But I just would like to see like one more big star. I think one more big star could really change things for the team. So I don't know who's a free agent right now, but whoever like the best free agent is, I think if we get one more piece of the puzzle, it could be it.
And we got to watch you, man. UFC London, July 23rd. Charles, appreciate the time as always. If there's anyone you want to thank, any sponsors, any social media, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, for sure. I just want to thank IHP and Superhuman Performance, American Combat Gym, my team, Sanford MMA, Henry Hooft, everybody, and also Jared Hoffman, chiropractor, Tony Wilcox, acupuncture, all these people that help keep my body healthy throughout the training camp. I appreciate you. And definitely everybody tune in July 23rd and watch me take off Nathaniel's head in UFC London.